So our next presenter is Britney Mallebranche, and she is majoring in theater arts. Her mentor is Professor Miranda Giurleo, and who's on sabbatical, which is so nice. But she has been working with Professor Sarah Bedard and all through this semester, and she has written an original play titled 1,000 Ways a Black Woman Dies, Stories from the Waiting Room.
Hi everyone.
Hi.
So to start, I just want to talk about my inspirations behind doing this show and creating an original piece. This isn't really something that is often done in the Adrian Tinsley research program, as far as I know. So it was a very scary project, but a lot went into consideration when I decided to do this. So I first want to talk about my inspiration behind this. As a woman of color myself, this is a topic that I hold near and dear to my heart. Obviously, I am Black. I'm first-generation Haitian American. Both my parents are from the island of Haiti, so I know firsthand what it is like to be Black in America, as well as coming from immigrant parents in America. There's a lot of hardships that come with it, and sometimes that narrative isn't always properly represented. And as an actor, I find myself constantly being put in spaces where the voices and stories of Black women are rarely ever heard. So I think of art as a reflection of what is happening in the world around us today. And theater is the perfect outlet where artists do that all the time. So there's so many different plays out there where people are talking about, racism or social justice, but it's shocking that there's not many narratives that come from the Black woman's perspective or represents the Black woman's voice. I spent a lot of time going through many, many plays, and you rarely find it. And it's sad, honestly, because I think, especially in these past couple of years with the Black Lives Matter movement, we've talked so much about Black Lives Matter and how Black men need to be protected and what we need to do for Black men. Even on Broadway today, there's multiple plays that represent the Black experience for Black men. However, Black women are constantly underrepresented. And this piece was essential to write in our current social climate, as I said, and these atrocities will not go away unless we begin to create an atmosphere of awareness. I've come to realize in life that in order to see certain things that you want to see in the world, you have to do it yourself and you have to implement it yourself. So that's why I took this initiative to create this play. So the process. So the first part is research and plot development. I knew that I wanted to write about Black women, I just didn't know how exactly I wanted to go about it. It's very scary to write about the perspective of that is my own, but I obviously am still standing before you today. I don't know what it's like to die in the hands of social injustice, thank God. And I pray I never reach that point in my life. However, taking other people's stories and other people's near-death experiences and finding a way to properly put that on a stage was really important to me. So that's why I went and looked at my research and found the 3 different aspects that I really cared about that I wanted to get represented on stage. First was pregnancy and medical deaths. Black women are 2.5 times more likely than white women to die during pregnancy and during childbirth. It's not something that's talked about often enough, and often it just goes, well, they have heart problems, or it's just an automatic dismissal. And often I found in my research that women were complaining of symptoms within 6 months of their pregnancy, but doctors just dismissed it until the last moment. Another topic that I wanted to talk about was military discrimination and race-related deaths. Someone that I came across in my research was Lavina Johnson, who was a military person who was deployed and was found one day randomly in her tent dead. And she had stabs all over her body. She was clearly bruised. It was very clear that there was a rape. However, the military just simply they mailed a letter to the parents weeks after it happened saying it was suicide. And the parents had a feeling that that was not the case. So they went and they asked for the body and did their own autopsy, and that is when all the information came out of what actually her body looked like. But the military refused to let them interview anyone who worked with her. They did their own investigation and nothing ever came of it. So that story was really heartbreaking to me, so I specifically wrote one of my monologues in the play about her, as well as just police brutality in general. That is a topic that we all know is very prominent in this world today, so I wanted to make sure that was also touched. Writing, lots and lots of writing. I am not a playwright. I'm an actor, but obviously I think all of us have writing within us. We all have a story to tell, or not only about ourselves, but others. So finding a way to put this into a script was really hard for me because obviously I'm not that skilled in it. However, after lots and lots and lots of drafts and finally just trusting myself and trusting the process, I was able to create the script and the music. So I was actually very lucky enough to write 2 original songs for this play, as well as image 2 old Haitian gospel hymns. So there are 2 different hymns I put in the show. One of them is called Si Jodi Am Vivant and Si M'a Toujours C'est Grâce à Vous Seigneur. I was able to take Si Jodi Am Vivant and as well remix it into an English version for the song. And I chose, for this song, I actually made a visual that's on my website for this research that kind of depicts how I wanted that version to go, as I kind of wanted to keep both American roots and Haitian roots in it, and kind of show that both struggles are happening both across the seas and here. So the play Synopsis, this is just what the play is about. A small group of women are sitting in a circle and dimly lit stage having an AA-style group therapy session. They are in some type of waiting room waiting for final judgment after death. And the women share their stories of their deaths as well as having many side conversations throughout. And the script is purposely written in a way where I don't have character names, it's just dashes. I did this in this way to make it easier for any director to not only choose the cast size they desire, but also gives flexibility in sense to make it a devised piece that they can pick and choose who's saying what. I think it's really important that this show can free flow as much as possible. So allowing the director and whoever puts on the show, hopefully me, to be able to just go as they want to. And then I want to do a short little reading from the play, just a small part. This is just a short little monologue that ends in one of the songs, and I just wanted to share this with you all. All I could hear was him screaming, "Put your hands up, put your hands up." And the woman next to me was screaming, as she was wet and didn't know what to do. I turned around, because like I said, everything was happening so fast, and all I heard was 5 bursts and pain just shoot through my body. I dropped to the floor, and everything went black. That was the end of the story. I opened my eyes, and I was here. No prelude, no extra information for the afterwards, just a senseless death. It had no purpose. It had no impact afterwards. I was just alive, and then I wasn't. I was alive, and then I wasn't. And it's not even the death itself that sticks out in the crowd, because Black people die like this all the time, men and women. But the problem is that typically you only hear about these stories once in the news, and you constantly hear about how they had a drug past, or a violent history, or a record of owning and criticizing police. I had none of that. I was just a normal person who did the right thing, who never crossed anyone, but no one sees that. For the first time, I'm forced to understand the reality of my life is the color of my skin. That racism is still very much alive and well, and that there's nothing that I can do. I can rise above that as much as I want to, but I will never get anywhere as long as this is the color of my skin. I want to do better for myself and for my culture, but as long as people like that run this earth, I will never get the chance, nor anyone else like me. Si jodi am vivant, c'est grâce à vous, sans vous, Seigneur, moi pas rien. If I live today, it's by your grace. Without you, Lord, I am nothing. I lift my hands in pain, begging for peace. Down on my knees, I see no end for me. When will this nightmare end so that I can live free? The skin that I have won't let me be. When will this nightmare end so that I can live free? The skin that I have listening to my presentation, and I just want to thank the Undergraduate Research Program for giving me this opportunity, as well as my mentor, Professor Miranda Giurleo. She is on sabbatical, so unfortunately she's not here, but I know she would be very happy with this presentation. And this is a QR code actually to my website that has all my research and demo tracks of all the songs as well as the script, so feel free to take a picture of that if you like. Thank you.
Does anyone have any questions for Britney? Presentation.
Why did you choose those songs?
I think, well, I grew up in church, so I know a lot of songs in Haitian Creole. But when I was writing these stories and kind of sitting with how it made me feel, these are like the first songs that popped into my head, because often in church we use these songs as a feeling of comfort, and sometimes comfort in this sort of sense is not comfort of just being okay with what happened, but comforting yourself to know that it's wrong, and comforting yourself in the sadness, and these are the songs that really brought me to that.
Britney, thank you for providing your talent to us. Have you thought of having a Reader's Theater produced here at the university so we can be the inaugural
Actually,
way to be able to produce this?
yeah, perfect timing actually. So I'm actually continuing to play in my honors thesis this semester. So in November, I'm going to be having a public reading with a small cast that I've been working with of a couple of students on campus. So if anyone is interested in that, any faculty or students, please let me know and I'll send you out the invitation for that when it's ready.
Great.